There's a storm across the valley. The clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, your host, and today is January 20th, 23. And today I am welcoming to the studio one of our most important workers for the people of Easton, someone we cannot do without, the Executive Director, Ian Dunbar, the Executive Director of the Ames Free Library. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Nice to see you.
It's exciting to be here.
Yeah, it's wonderful that you were able to find the time. I know you're very busy. All the programs that you lead at the library are amazing and overwhelming, and thank goodness we can all get them digitally. We can find out what they are digitally, at least. So tell me a little bit about your background, where you were born and came from and grew up. And
I'm originally from central Connecticut.
Oh.
My family is in a small town of Marlborough there, about a half hour south of Wesleyan in Middletown.
Mm-hmm.
I attended state schools there in Connecticut and got my master's degree in library science from Southern Connecticut State University. Been working in public libraries since before undergraduate school. Started with circulation and cataloging, which I miss dearly. Worked my way through library school, working in a few part-time library jobs, and pretty close to after graduating, had a whirlwind week where we got married, had our honeymoon, and moved to Providence, Rhode Island, and then I got my job at the Ames Free Library shortly thereafter, and I have been there since. I actually started as a temporary worker, where my predecessor, the Adult Services Library, went out on maternity leave.
Oh, got your foot in the door.
Yes. And she did not come back, so I've been there since.
Uh-huh. So now, are you, where do you live now?
My family and I live in Boston.
Oh, okay. So you're commuting in the right direction.
Yes. I do not, I am fortunate not to be the people on the other side of the highway. I think of that every day.
Yes, I know, you see them, okay. So what made you interested originally years ago in library science, or is it something you just stumbled on?
The cliche of just enjoying books in the written world, and the idea that anyone can have access to the information to better themselves and better their community always just struck me as being vitally important. And I wanted to just get involved with that and help people. As I said, I started at a small library in Connecticut, pretty much doing a lot of everything there, circulation, but technical services and reference and IT and everything that, and learned. And it just really enjoyed helping people. You would see the same people come in every day. You would help their kids with homework. You would help them, work on, resumes or just find a recipe or something to cook with. And there's a real sense of community you get, and it just struck me as important. And then I graduated from undergraduate school with a focus in creative writing, actually, and will freely admit I'm not that talented. So needed something else, and I was very passionate about library studies. So I decided to continue that, and have not looked back since.
It's interesting. In my former life, one of my former lives, I was a creative writing teacher, and I have a son who is a film producer, but has gotten into screenwriting, and he's great. He's got a great right brain. Anyway, so you really learned the ropes from your experience, and it was a small library. So that made a big difference, didn't it? Because you could have hands-on experience with all the aspects of the library. And so you had an overall idea as to how things should be managed. And has that helped you?
Yes, that is, I think, is one of the true joys and pluses of small town libraries, or just small libraries, is that everyone who works there has to wear many, many hats. And they learn everything that's going on, and because of that, they can pitch in with needed, but they're comfortable pitching in with needed, so it means they're also comfortable collaborating with their colleagues. There's a big sense of commitment towards the institutions and helping everyone out, because everybody knows what everyone else is doing, and they can step in with helpful ideas.
And they can jump in if necessary when somebody suddenly is not able to be there.
Yes.
That's great.
And they learn all the happenings, and they contribute ideas. Nothing's done in a vacuum or a silo there, and just the sense of camaraderie we have amongst ourselves is wonderful.
So you have fungible employees.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Well, tell me, you certainly have big shoes to fill, but I'm told you have very big feet.
I do, yes. That was the joke all the time.
Well, that's good. Keeps you very stable and balanced.
We'll say Uma Ramus, the former director, hired me initially as when she was the assistant director of the library herself.
She picked you.
Yes, and I learned so much from her over the years, and I always enjoyed watching her work and actually just be a human being, interacting with the public. She had such a unique way of talking with people and making them comfortable, and just expressing herself. And yes, my physical shoes are large, and that's what I try to live up to, is just how she interacts with everyone and makes them feel at home, and that they can contribute and be a positive influence on everyone around them.
Yes, and not only that, but everybody who walked through the doors of the library, or perhaps just walked through the doors of her life, wherever she was, she would grab them and say, "What do you do?" I mean, I know that for a fact because I was one of her victims. and a lovely victim, I felt, that she makes everybody feel welcomed, as you say, but she gathered a lot of talent, and by her just reaching out, and you never could say no to Uma Harmuth, but she developed a lot of the programs that were started by her predecessor. She increased and expanded them, and she never said no to anything. I mean, no, I was in the garden club for quite a number of years, and one of the things that we had, and it still happens, is the Books in Bloom, and where the garden club member takes a book and then tries to express it in a floral arrangement. So, her imagination and her outreach were really extensive and amazing. So you tell me now, how are you building on that? What are you doing, and what's your vision for the future?
Well, I'm building on that by just, like I said, trying to learn from her example. Uma did exemplify the library's motto, "Where the community connects." Exactly as you said, she believed that everyone had something worthy of sharing with their neighbors, something important that other people could learn from. And so she did physically grab anyone who walked through the door and compel them to give a program. And it was this general attitude that even amongst the staff, that every idea is worth trying. Encourage them to be kind of the best that they can and just explore ideas. So that's mainly where we're going with now. We have a fresh group of staff in there for the most part. I think it's everything during the pandemic. A lot of, there was a little bit of turnover, so we have some new faces in there. For the first time in the library's history, we have 2 full-time youth services staff members, and they're just a font of wonderful ideas and programming for children and families. And it's just more of encouraging them and supporting them and fulfilling those, helping get ideas and saying that no, we can try anything you want.
So what have you found? Have you been a UMA in a way, and have you been grabbing people too? I mean, I understand you're inspiring your employees, people working under you, but I'm sure that you must have had moments when you met someone and said, you could teach a class on XYZ, right?
I have not yet. I am not as comfortable, I will say, approaching everybody as Uma was, which she had set a high bar there. I have definitely asked people of that after knowing them for some time. I'm still working up the nerve just to follow Uma's example and run up to people.
You have to be less shy, and also remember what my mother always said to me, and my dad. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So anyway, Easton, you're not going to have a problem, because Easton is filled with talented, creative, knowledgeable people. And I mean, who would have expected that the library would be sponsoring a bead club or a knitting club? And yet you have programs from the very little ones to the older ones. And you're open to suggestions. So if somebody wanted to offer some suggestions, do you have a suggestion box at the library, or should they just email you? And if so, what is your contact information?
So yeah, either way, we do have a suggestion box at the library. It's right at the entrance. When you walk in, look at the desk. There's a box right there and a little scrap paper to fill out. I can also be reached, or most of the library staff can be reached at info@amesfreelibrary.org. And I can be directly reached at 508-238-2000 extension 7. And yes, I'm always interested to hear what people contribute. We've actually been hearing people recently and starting some more community groups like you had mentioned. Local father's going to be offering Dungeons and Dragons for some kids. A woman is interested in restarting a cookbook club. Those are just getting off the ground now, so please look out for further information. But these are just residents of the town that want to do these things and want to give back to the community. And like I said, we just don't say no to them. We say, how can we help you do this?
And you provide space too. Now, is Queeset House the main area that provides these programs?
Yes, Queeset House is our primary event and meeting space. The library itself we want to dedicate to the physical collection and general library services, reader's advisory, reference, computers. And Queeset House is for people to come in and meet and collaborate and talk and learn new things and really have a shared experience.
Well, tonight, doors open at 6:30, and I guess I should say Queeset. David Ames keeps reminding me that is the proper pronunciation.
I will do my best
we
to
say
remember
Queeset because we've just replicated what other people have said over the years, but maybe we should start saying Queeset because it does go back to an abbreviation of Cowisit, which was it's a Native American term, and it was the name of a river, I think. So, and of course, Queeset River is, goes right into Langwater Pond, or Fred's Pond, as we called it, and then down to Taunton all the way. So anyway, the Queeset House has a very important job now, whereas before it was just a very beautiful home and estate of one of the wealthy Ames, Winthrop Ames, and it was built by Frederick Lothrop Ames, his father, and it's an English stone house, and it's magnificent. Recently, it and the gardens were the site of a movie. I went there to check it out, and the word bonfire is in the name of it. Do you know what the name is?
I was trying to remember the other day. We only We work primarily with the location scouts and not the actual movie company. So everything, I don't get all the
Oh.
information, just that this is going to happen then, it's this. So actually, I don't
Yeah.
really know that much more than you do on that.
But probably if you just Google bonfire film, you'll find it. I don't think it's come out yet.
No,
No.
it has, not that I've been aware of.
It's like a 1920s, so it was like, it was the Winthrop Ames period.
Mhm.
And so I saw the actors dressed in period clothes, and yeah, it's fun.
Beautiful cars on the
Yeah,
on the
well,
set.
weren't they something, the
Beautiful.
cars?
I just love looking out the window to see them.
So that's wonderful that you can get revenue
Mhm.
from groups that want to use, and I bet there are a lot of weddings that happen there in the summer.
Not as many, but yes, the Queeset House is totally funded by the library itself, and is independent. So we use things like private events and film companies to just maintain the building, keep the lights on, keep the doors open. So we appreciate any support and use. We try to have actually a lot of meetings inside there, smaller
Yes.
gatherings, lunches, rather than a big wedding, because we don't really want to disturb the
No.
neighbors.
But viewers should know that the Queeset House can be rented
Yes.
by the library. It's not just the gardens, but the building itself. And it's a beautiful, beautiful building.
Yes, we had my daughter's third birthday there years and years ago, and she still remembers it, and she always wants to come to my work thinking it's that.
How old is she now?
She just turned 8. Yeah.
Great age.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. But yes, we like I said, it's meetings, showers, local businesses. You can find all the information on our website. Yes, check it out. We really appreciate it, and it's a beautiful spot to be in. I know from firsthand experience.
Yeah. Now, one thing that UMA started and that you're continuing is the 300 Years, 300 Stories project. And that goes to the 300th anniversary of the town of Easton, its incorporation date, not when it was actually when people started dwelling here. Because we know Native Americans were here before the immigrants. But in 2025, which is in a mere 2 years from now, we're going to have a big celebration, a 300th birthday. And explain a little bit what your thought was and what you want viewers to know and how they can participate in this very worthwhile project.
So the 300 Years, 300 Stories was spearheaded by Head of Adult Services, Megan Tully. The idea is exactly that for the tricentennial of the town, to capture people's stories. Anyone, their childhood stories of growing up here, their stories from just last week, and it doesn't have to be vital, earth-shaking stories that occurred. It could just be, walking to school, or a corner store that used to anything that contributes to the town as a living function space. So the library has equipment for you can come in to record yourself. We have some interview props. You can also take out a bag, make it fully portable if you don't want to have the public there around you listening to your story. And you can even do as simple as record yourself on your phone and upload it to a database that we will then store and make available.
Wow. We're in the 21st century, aren't we?
Yes.
So do people have to make appointments for an interview held at the library?
Yes, right now if you contact Megan Tully, she can set up an interview.
What's her name?
Megan Tully.
How do you spell the last name?
Tully.
Oh, Tully.
Tully.
Okay. You said Tully.
I'm a mumbler.
You are. I know. You have to practice that.
I do.
Diction is
I
everything.
have to enunciate. I remind myself constantly.
Well, I've understood you, and I'm sure the viewers have too. So this is exciting, and I really encourage our viewers to think about that, because we all have something. You don't have to be someone who actually is a townie, grew up here. You can be someone who just came last month, but you have impressions of the town. And these impressions, I believe, will be archived with the Historical Society so that future generations may share in your inspiring words and all of your opinions and so forth and thoughts. And I would hope that if you discovered, Ian, those people who participate in the program who grew up in Easton, who are townies, and I would love to have you refer them to me, because one of my favorite and wonderful programs is called Growing Up in Easton. And I've been doing this for a number of years. Actually, quite a few of them have passed. And so we need to replenish the stock. And ECAT has graciously agreed to make copies of those interviews, conversations, discussions. And usually there are two people, two buddies, two classmates sometimes, that share and feed off each other with remembrances. And so ECAT is giving 3 copies to the Historical Society. One is a permanent disc, and the other one, and it's on archival, which I didn't know, archival DVDs, which are supposed to last 100 years. So in the next 100 years, there's got to be some newer technology that'll replace this, and those Growing Up in Easton episodes can be transferred to the new technology, whatever that's going to be. But at least we know these are good for 100 years. And there are going to be 2 copies that are going to be loaned out. So we just sent over one. We have quite a few more, but you'll find out about this through ECAT and the Historical Society when we have the whole collection available, so you can take them out and enjoy them.
It's very exciting.
They're really fun. Okay, so tell me what you feel is one of the most inspiring and important programs or events that you feel that you really like to feature and highlight in this conversation.
For what I feel is just vital service that the library provides is solely on the generous shoulders of a community volunteer at the library, again offering her skills. Julie Unn provides a
Who?
Julie Unn.
Oh yes, Julie.
A
right.
English as a second language program at the library. She's been doing it for well on 7 years now. She just does amazing work. She's helped dozens of people over the years improve their language, from just basic pronunciation, which obviously I need, spelling, writing, conversation. I know a couple of her students have earned their citizenship with the help of Julie and her team. She has a small army of volunteers that she herself has recruited. She has support from the library, from the Friends of the Library, so she can purchase textbooks and other reading materials and send directly to her students. We're just so very proud of what she can do, and that she's able to help anyone who comes through with this work, and just amazing feedback.
Yeah, you know, I have helped her too, especially in conversation. And it's been amazing. There are students from Kakistan, I don't know how I say that, well, one of the stands, you know, from Russia, Italy, France, Poland, China. It's amazing. Oh, and Spanish-speaking people too, from South America. And they all gather at the Quested House, or the Quested House, whichever you want to say. And Julie is really dedicated, wonderful, and she really knows her stuff. Yes. She speaks and has taught Mandarin. Mandarin was her primary focus at university. And before COVID, I was tutoring her in Swedish, because she discovered that she has a Swedish cousin, and she wanted to learn a little bit, even though the Swedes speak perfect English. probably be better than most Americans. She still, as a language devotee, she wanted to learn Swedish. So I see her in church every Sunday, and she keeps saying, I'm going to come back to you, I'm coming, but I'm so busy. And you know what? She is busy, isn't she?
She's very busy. She, I think, gives 110% towards this program. She apologized for going on vacation from her volunteer duties in December, and I congratulated her for doing that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the students love her, and by the way, the students are all ages. She had a mother-daughter from Italy, probably still has, but they range to seniors who've come over to join their children, so they're all ages. And so you can imagine the challenges there, because younger people have a much easier time, I think, at a lot of what Julie offers them. And then she has so much patience with those who are a little bit slower in getting it. So we should be very grateful to Julie Un. UN. Her husband is from China? No, Korea. Husband is from Korea. They met in China when she was studying Mandarin, and I guess he must have been too. So, and they have 2 kids, adult children, and yeah, she's really a treasure.
Yes.
One of Easton's treasure. You know, I got to interview her. I really do. And maybe we could do an on-site, you know, if the students agree, give their permission, we could go to one of her classes. Good idea, huh?
Yes.
Well, that's for another time. So, any parting thoughts, Ian, that you'd like to tell the public? Things you've always wanted to say but didn't have a way to say it, or a portal to pass it through?
Nothing too specific. Just, I mean, we're always pleased to see you at the library. Come in, like I said, share any ideas you have. We're always interested to learn what services that would benefit you. We're constantly trying to evolve and think of new things. So any suggestions or feedbacks are always appreciated in terms of materials or services or programs or what yourself can offer. So please come in, introduce yourself, let us know. The doors are always open. Yeah, just.
And don't forget the address. So if you have suggestions or complaints,
we'll take those too.
They'll take those too, because we all learn from complaints sometimes. So
just looking to improve.
Yeah. So anyway, the address is info@amesfreelibrary.org. Very easy to remember. So keep that in mind. And the phone number has been forever 508-238-2000. How easy is that? So, and you can always speak to Ian directly at extension 7. All right, and don't forget to keep, if you're not getting the emails, you can go online at amesfreelibrary.org and sign up for getting weekly emails outlining the programs that are being offered for the following week. So that's always important, and the information on how to sign up for things. And and there's a media room over at Quistit House too, that one can go and sit quietly and use the computers, I think.
Yes, we have computers in Quistit House with a full suite of Adobe editing software. So if you want to learn how to literally edit anything from photos to videos to sound, it is there, and we have online databases that can instruct you how to do that. And we also have in a separate room in Quistit House a podcasting studio that ECAD actually helped set us up.
A podcasting studio?
A podcasting studio with a soundboard, some microphones that you and a few friends can sit down and record your thoughts, have a conversation, and learn that experience as well.
Wow, podcast. Oh, I would love to look at that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming today, Ian.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations to you on this wonderful job. You certainly earned it. You worked yourself right up from the bottom and learned the business and learned all about Ames Free Library. And hopefully you will continue to meet Easton's residents and get to know them and grab them. All you have to do is say, what interests you? And then the second question is, can you do that? And the third question is, why don't you do it here at the library? So good luck to you, and I know you'll be very successful. And I'm sure that Uma is smiling and applauding and wishing you the very best, as we wish Uma. Okay, so don't forget to go to your library, take advantage of everything that they have, and don't forget I guess you're going to be putting out, when there's no snow flying like today, the book stand with all the free books. No, they're not free. They're $1 for hard copies and 50 cents for soft copies. Right. So don't forget to check that out too, especially for the children's books.
And the Friends of the Library have an ongoing book sale in the back room of Quessett House. That's always, when the building's open, you can free there browse it. And they'll have a large book sale again in October like they do annually.
Oh, we can't forget that. Yes. That is so important. Barbara Beach is the president of the Friends of the Ames Free Library, and she has a cadre of workers, and you can drop off on Saturday between 1 and 4 or 1 and 5 books that you'd like to donate. No encyclopedias, no technical books, just fiction and nonfiction. Cookbooks are welcome, travel books, so forth. But and what they do, they clean them. I was there bringing my donation a few weeks ago, and there's a special room where they clean the books and check them all out to be sure that there are no repairs required, and off they go. And everything is delineated with a certain category, every area, so they know just where to put that book, all right? And they have books for youth, books for children, and of course adults. So come and check it out. And it's only $1 a book for a hard copy and 50 cents for a soft copy. And those of you who are friends of the Ames Free Library, like I am, you get so many free books a year with your membership. So it's time to renew your membership. So please keep that in mind too. So go on Saturdays 1 to 5 and check it out, but with your donations. But you can go anytime the Quessett House is open and go into that room in the back on the first floor. And what are the hours of the Quessett House?
Quessett House is open Monday through Thursday from 1 to 8, and then Friday and Saturday from 1 to 5. I should say all the money that the Friends raise through the book sales benefits the library through services and programs, and we are very grateful to such a great, dedicated group of volunteers that just love the library and want to give back to it. Yeah. It's wonderful working with them.
And Barbara is perfect for the job.
Yes.
She's a real go-getter and a perky person who is always smiling and happy to see you. So check it out. All right. Thank you again, Ian.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. And I hope you've enjoyed this presentation as much as Ian and I have enjoyed presenting it to you. And until next time, this is Priscilla Almquist-Olsen. Be well.